Something else to mention on this particular console before we move to the front of the boat is I've actually got a Vexus VX20 mounted in the dash here, but I can actually flush mount up to a 16-inch screen in this console. And then as we move to the front of the boat, something you'll notice actually right here on this console, instead of it being a windshield that's completely connected down here at the bottom and you lose, God knows, lures, pieces of paper, etc. down at the bottom of the windshield that you gotta fish out with a little stick or anything like that, this windscreen actually flows all the way through. And everything that'll be dropped down here will actually come out here at the bottom of the base of the windshield and down here on the floorboard. A lot of guys would end up saying, well, what good is the windshield, wind shear as a whole? It actually keeps a lot of the wind off still, because even though it's a flow-through windshield, a flow-through design, not much air actually comes through. It actually will meet the bottom shelf here, down here on the bottom of the console, and funnels itself around the console as it comes. Moving to the front of the boat, I've currently got a Vexus 12 flush mounted up here at the front. And that's the largest screen size that I can take actually up here. I've got my 112 Minn Kota Ultrex 36 volt, as well as a designated support pole to hold it in place, as well as a little pad to put it in place so it's not wearing through your carpet or anything like that. I've got designated tool holders for any pliers or anything you want to keep up front, as well as a cup holder to put your koozie or water or anything like that, or your catch-all cup, whatever you want to put in here. I've got spot lock on this Ultrex also for the guys that are doing a lot of spot fishing, constant, as well as north up, for anything that's involved in that particular switch. I've got my trim up here also. I can control it up here instead of it being a little switch where you kick at it or anything like that. I can basically just step on it and it brings it up, down, either or. I can also control my nav lights instead of it being your typical toggle switch. It's just a button that I can hit. I've got my red green on right there. Then there's just my anchor light, and then it's all off. Up here at the bow of the boat, you'll notice that you've got 3 compartments. Most boats you would end up having basically 2 lockers would be designated to rods, and then 1 locker would be designated to tackle. In this boat, you actually have the preference, if you want to, you can do all 3 as rod storage. Over here on the starboard side, which would typically be most boats just storage as a whole, I've actually got storage for up to 7-foot rods on this side. I got cushions down here to keep all my, as far as reels, rods, etc. I can keep all that safe without bumping up against any fiberglass or anything sharp, etc., etc. But I've got 7-foot storage here. You'll notice that all the compartments in this Vexus are actually raised up, as well as weather stripped, so that any water that ends up here in the channels here will actually funnel down here into the gutter right here, as well as into the bottom of the boat to be wicked out into the bilge of the boat. I've also got a little pee hole up front so that any water that may or may not make it back here to the back of the boat, it can actually go out right there. Going into the middle storage here, I've got storage for up to 8-foot 2 rods. So anybody that's throwing a big stick as far as a 7-11 or anything like that, trying to reach out there and touch them with a Carolina rig or something deep cranking, I can put those rods here. I've got tubes for up to 12 rods here in the middle, as well as storage for tackle even here in the bottom of the boat. I've got little bungees to hold them in place right here on two aluminum bars that are painted over right here in the middle, so you can keep them raised up off the bottom and then do storage here also. Over here on the far left side, I've got another rod locker that I can put up to 8-foot long rods here in this particular locker. And then something notice you'll kind of be a little bit different is I've got this little shelf over here to the far left side. This little left-sided shelf here is known as the quick draw shelf. So any rods that are my favorite rods to throw during the day, or something that I want to keep some top water on for some schoolie fish or anything like that, I can actually put them on this shelf and not actually keep them on the front of the deck to clutter up space or be something that I might step on, but I can quickly access it during any point of the day to get to it. As far as fish pop up schooling, I got to hurry up and grab it. No more taking off rod socks or getting tangled in other rods or anything like that. So that shelf's right here for quick, easy access. Moving towards back here to the dash, it's something that's just a really neat feature just as a whole for this particular boat. Is I've got interior lights for the whole boat. I've got my white up front to showcase as far as just seeing really clean colors, etc., crankbaits, etc. Nothing's skewed by anything off color. Then I've got red here in the bottom just to keep things, you know, it's not super bright or anything like that. I can still see real well. I can still see the bottom, etc. But it accents the black and the gray real well. And then moving back here towards the back of the boat, I've got white here in this compartment. I've got white in the back battery compartment and the white off to this compartment. So I can still see in my tackle boxes just as a whole, and still see basically all the colors, the crankbaits, etc. And then for my live well fish, just to keep them calm and everything else, I've got blue here inside these the compartments. Keep my fish calm and then basically keep them well the rest of the day. But yeah, that finishes up the walkthrough of the Vexus VX20 2021 model. Thank you, and see you in Clayton, North Carolina.